Well, happy first day of spring.
Woohoo!
We're really excited because today we're going to be bringing you along with us as we explore one of the top attractions in Tucson, Mount Lemmon. So if you enjoy scenic drives as well as a bunch of nature and mountain views, make sure that you stay for the entire video because you're not going to want to miss any of it. And if this is your first time here, we're super glad that you're with us. We would love it if you'd consider subscribing and following along with us on all of our family adventures.
And we'll see you on the mountain.
So we made it up here to the first of several stops along the Catalina Highway. This is actually a scenic byway that goes by multiple names, but if you just say you're going to drive up to Catalina, most locals know what you're talking about. It's really cool because this is one of those places where I think I read that they liken the ability to see vegetation like you were traveling from Mexico all the way to Canada by the time you reach the top. Because you start out like here, we're still in high desert vegetation with lots of cacti and mesquite trees and stuff that we find down in the valley. But as you'll see, when we continue to go higher, we're going to get up to the point where we're in pine trees and there's some aspens and a bunch of other stuff, which makes this a really popular area, not just for out-of-towners, but for locals, because as you climb up in elevation, I believe you go all the way up to about 9,000 feet.
It's a lot cooler up there in the summer.
Right, it's about 20 to 30 degrees difference in the summer, so this is a really, really popular area for people to come up to escape the heat.
Or if you're lucky, you get to see some snow in the winter.
That's right, with the elevation, it is one of the only areas that consistently gets snow. As a matter of fact, they even have like a ski lift area up at the top because they consistently get snow. But that is one of the things that when it does snow, they'll shut down the roads because A, they're not safe, and B, there's so many people that want to come up here that they really restrict the number of cars that can come up here and require four-wheel drive, chains, and all that other stuff. But I don't think we have any of that to worry about today.
No.
So we're going to get back in the car and continue along and share with you this amazing mountain drive. So we stopped up here at the
Windy Point Vista,
Vista, which I think is the most popular spot as far as pullouts and stops go along the route.
As you can tell, it's windy.
It is windy, but the views are spectacular. It's really cool because you can see the road that you came up, you can see the mountain range and all the different directions that it goes.
Out into the city.
And then there's also several different people. There's actually someone spelunking or...
No. Spelunking? That's in the cave, right?
There's someone rock climbing, right?
Rappelling
right on the other side of us. And then there's also someone across the street that's doing it. So Mount Lemmon is the highest peak in the Catalina mountain range. So technically when people say Mount Lemmon, it's just because the road goes up to Mount Lemmon, but the Catalina mountain range is huge and there's a lot of things to do within the national forest that the road runs through. There's plenty of hiking. There are some equestrian trails, so people can bring their horses up here. There's also mountain bike trails. Haven't really seen any of those, but I don't know if some of the equestrian trails maybe are dual purpose.
Lots of picnic spots.
As you probably saw in the driving footage, there are a lot of bicyclists. So it's something to definitely be aware of if you're planning on coming up here, that it is only a 2-lane road throughout the entire way. When you're going up, although yes, there are bike paths on the shoulder, you still need to be aware of the bikers who are fighting their way up, because that's really hard to work up these hills and stay in a straight line. And then the other thing really to keep in mind is coming down, because bikers are all about
Speed,
right? Using the gravity and coming down. So as you're driving down, you're probably going to have bikers that are going to be in the middle lane, and also as you're driving up, be aware of other cars that are passing bicyclists that are going down. It was cool too, because when we got here, there was a couple of patches where there was still snow on the side of the road. Even though it is March, we did have a cold front come through. I think it was
within the last week or so.
Within the last week, and it dumped snow up here. We're at about 6,000 feet above sea level right now. So I expect as we continue to go a little bit further, because I think we have about 3,000 more feet of elevation to gain, that the temperature is going to continue to drop, and we might see bigger pieces of snow. So let's check that out. So we are up here in the little village of Summerhaven at the top of Mount Lemmon, and we are going to check out the
Cookie cabin,
which I've heard about since I was a kid, and I have never checked out. So we'll see what all the hubbub's about. So we went and checked out Summerhaven, which is, I think, considered like a town or village. There's not really a whole lot there. There's
a lot of rental cabins.
And then some of the more affluent people have their summer cabins up here as well. And I think they have like a general store. There's a tiny post office.
Little restaurant.
There's a lot of people. This is where the Catalina Highway ends, is just past Summerhaven, and there's a hiking trail that's down there that we drove down to kind of where the parking area was. But as you could see from the footage, it's not even worth trying to get down there and fight with the headaches. I think I've been able to do that hike once with the boys. It was beautiful. It's amongst aspen trees and stuff, but you have to get out here early and definitely not on a weekend. So we're currently at the Loma Vista picnic area, which is, I think, like the furthest up that we saw, which is awesome. It's cooler. You can still see snow, some spots on the side of the road, other spots in the mountain, the backside of the mountain. It smells amazing up here.
All the pine trees.
And you might be able to see from some of the footage too, it looks like there's some fire damage, and unfortunately last year, well, I'll backtrack. With it being at a high elevation and with the fact that the desert doesn't get much precipitation, the Catalinas are susceptible to wildfires. It's usually lightning
Nature.
strikes. And last year there was the largest wildfire in Arizona history, which was the Bighorn Fire, and that burned during the summertime. And it was almost for a month.
I was going to say about a month.
And it burned a ton, hundreds of thousands of acres, and somehow Summerhaven escaped without any damage, but
To the homes.
to the homes, right? The surrounding area and the forests and stuff all got burnt up, but nature's resilient and everything's coming back, so that's pretty awesome. Now we're gonna go ahead and eat our lunch, which we're super excited about because
The dessert?
which we can't wait to taste. So now that lunch is done, it is time to reveal these amazing cookies. I swear these are the biggest cookies I think I've ever had or seen, and that was the big thing that the Mount Lemmon Cookie Cabin is known for. So after all this time of living in Arizona, trying it out for the first time. I will warn you though, it's not a cheap purchase. The cookies were $7 and $8 respectively, but it's a fun thing. You're up here and these things are huge. All right, so here is the sampler, and this is 5 of their smaller cookies all together of each of their cookies.
Oh, and a brownie.
And a brownie in the middle. And then here is the classic chocolate chip. Why don't you hold it up so people can see how big it is?
Yeah, hold it up to your face.
All right, that is a really big cookie.
Are you going to eat it all in one sitting?
Maybe.
No, you're not.
No.
All right, let's enjoy this thing. Go ahead, Mom, you get the first bite.
Got to decide which one I'm going for.
Their different cookie flavors were peanut butter, it was the white chocolate macadamia, chocolate chip,
Oatmeal raisin.
oatmeal raisin, and
White
then
chocolate.
brownie. Is that the peanut butter?
With little peanuts in there. That's
Awesome.
good.
Paisley, why don't you go ahead and try your...
Oh, and they're nice and warm too.
Try me. You get this chocolate chip cookie probably. Oops.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, nice and warm. Smells really good. That's an $8 cookie. So yeah, if you ever plan on coming up to Mount Lemmon and you make it up to Summerhaven, might as well stop by the Cookie Cabin because it's a unique experience. Super cute little place. They had pizzas and coffee and soft drinks, and of course their cookies.
Or cookies and ice cream.
Oh, you could do cookies and ice cream, that's right, which looked amazing because we saw a lot of people walking out with that, but it wasn't going to transport back to the picnic area, so we settled for just a cookie. But we're going to go ahead and eat these and then go find ourselves a hiking trail so we can walk off all these goodies. So hiking in Arizona, or should I say hiking in southern Arizona when there's snow on the ground, is not necessarily something that we are familiar with. This is a cool thing. We'll see how long we can make it with the snowy slush on the ground, but I mean, it's kind of fun because it's not normal, so it's cool to get out and experience it. The views up here are still just amazing, and then being snowy is pretty awesome and gives it an extra sense of peacefulness. But we came out here on the
Butterfly trail.
Butterfly Trail, which all trails actually rated it as a hard trail. I wasn't going to tell you. And it's like 7 miles, I think, was the trail length, which I knew we weren't going to do 7 miles anyway. But as we have noted, there's a lot of snow up here, and when you're on the side of a mountain and the trail's narrow, when there's snow that's getting packed down and melting and refreezing,
It's a little slippery.
a little slippery. So we're going to turn around and maybe go to an area with a little bit lower elevation and do one of the trails down there. But it is beautiful up here, so at least they have that going for that. It wasn't a total bust.
No.
Lots of good views, and it's cool seeing the snow. Well, it looks like this trailhead is actually a trailhead for two different trails. Bug Spring doesn't sound super appealing, so we're gonna check out Green Mountain Trail, which is this way.
All right.
There are definitely more steps and obstacles to navigate on this trail than I think we were expecting. I couldn't.
There's no snow.
There's no snow, yes, so there, at least there's no slippage from that. There's no signal in this part, so I wasn't able to pull it up on all trails to get an idea, but so far it's been all uphill and lots of really high steps, so I'm glad that Paisley's able to reach up her shorter legs. So as we mentioned earlier, hiking is really popular out here, which this is now our second hiking trail that we've taken you guys on. And there are a lot of other hiking trails. The cool thing is that the Arizona Trail, which is a 800-mile trail that runs from Mexico north to south through Arizona all the way up to Utah, part of that trail actually runs through the Catalina Mountains. It's not the trail that we're on now, but if you happen to decide that you want to do the Arizona Trail, then you can walk through the Catalina Mountains while you're at it. We made to just under a mile on the trail, and we're going to go ahead and turn around and head back because we still have things to do today, and we left the house kind of early, so it's been a nice full day. But what do you guys think about the trail?
It was really good.
It's nice.
Bit of a leg workout.
Oh, that's true. I like that it did move away from the road a little bit as we got further along. So
yeah, I'd say that was probably the biggest negative, is that
initial part.
part, and you can still hear a decent amount of road noise. That was the nice thing, at least with the other trail, you were pretty far away from the main road, so you couldn't really hear it, but at least there's no snow.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of tree cover. That was another thing I was kind of worried about, was it being too warm without being in the thick pines. But all in all, pretty good hike.
Yeah, I'd say a great day up in the mountains today.
Yeah, we really enjoyed sharing more of our backyard with you all. If you'd like to see more of our videos where we share Arizona, make sure that you check out this playlist right here. If you like this video, let us know by hitting that thumbs up button. It helps out our channel a lot. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed, and we will see you in the next video.